Can anybody come playoff time figure out how to interrupt this small ball experiment that the Rockets now have gone all in on?
Yeah, no, I mean, it's going to be interesting when the game slows down in the playoffs. You know, tonight they make 23s. I think that's what they made at least. You know, you make 23s, Russ and James Harden, you know, they combine for 72 points.
Yeah.
It's a great game. But in the playoffs, it's going to, you know, it's hard to do it every single night against size on the interior.
They went 20 for 48.
Here's the positive. P.J. Tucker and DeMarre Carroll and also Jeff Green in college played the 4 and 5 position. They transitioned to the NBA to the wing. And the Rockets are saying we're willing to give up offensive rebounds, points in the paint for our three-point attempts, which we know we will make more threes than you would make twos. So that gives us the advantage, and it shows it's working.
They're 9-0 now this season when they make at least 20 three-pointers. That, of course, makes a lot of sense. But you mentioned Jeff Green and DeMarre Carroll, both of those guys having made their debuts Thursday night on TNT. But guys that are pretty impressed were in as good of shape as each of them are and fit so seamlessly with the way that the Rockets are playing.
They got high character professional guys, and Jeff Green goes back with Russell Westbrook to OKC days. Remember in OKC, he was the 4. And he had a phenomenal run with them until they eventually kind of moved him away and brought in Serge Ibaka and tried to go big to beat the Lakers. That was a unique transition, but he's back with his guy, Russell Westbrook, and you're going to see him play at a higher level.
You know, it's fascinating because you would have thought Houston would have waited on the Jeff Green and DeMarre Carroll signings for exactly a player like potentially Markieff Morris. Right? Like at least one big guy, but no, they've gone all in on small, and you got to respect them to say, listen, this is our style of play. We have a clear identity, and this is what we're going to do. And tonight, it worked.
Well, thus far, it seems to be working because instead of other teams taking advantage inside where they're lacking a big, it seems like the Rockets are playing at a pace that requires other teams to play their game instead.
Yeah, no, I'm still fascinated in this. Like, how's it going to go against the real size of the Lakers? You know, tonight was not a good night for Utah. You know, they struggled last night against San Antonio. Some of this might just be a little bit of playoff rust because Utah was playing well going into the playoffs, going into the All-Star break. And then Jokic, you know, Denver. Like, how is this going to work against really those are the 3 teams?
Anytime you got Russell Westbrook and James Harden in the backcourt, you have dominant closers. And I think you place in Utah. The thing about Utah is Utah doesn't get easy baskets. So this was a good game for the Rockets. They can go and they can play, they can shoot, they can play loose because Utah is not going to beat you in transition. But you talk about the Lakers, LeBron will play in transition, so that's going to be unique. And whether it works or fails, I'm going to have my popcorn ready because I want to see how many shots they get up, who Russ is going to get into it with in the stands and on the other team. It's always going to be phenomenal entertainment.
The best. Are you surprised that Russ and James have worked as well together now in Houston? Of course, we've seen them play together before, but now in Houston as these superstar talents, these MVP holding, you know, kind of like there was so much conversation surrounding whose style of play the team would have to lean into, and it's working well.
They've been friends since high school. They play together in the Pangos All-American camp. They play together every summer at UCLA.
They're on the cover of GQ.
So they also do photo shoots together. But they have synergy, they have continuity, and that Los Angeles area of basketball, those guys stick together, and it's phenomenal when they get on the same team because you have to cheer for them and just watch them play. It's like playing in the Drew League. Like they just go at it and just hoop.
Yeah, no, I'm not surprised. Initially, I was a little perplexed, you know, because the fit, you just didn't see it. But Russell's helped them play faster. You know, James has gotten off the ball. They moved Capella to open the floor up. I mean, they've really made moves for these 2 guys. They score 72 tonight. They're going to be really good. And I don't know that we're talking enough. This was a tiebreaker game. It was 1-1 Houston-Utah. Houston, Utah going into tonight, and they only play 3 times this year. Houston wins the tiebreaker. That's a big deal. Potential home court advantage. And now sitting in 4th, I mean, this a huge moment for playoff seeding in the Western Conference, especially heading into that first round where, you know, home court advantage could make the difference. This is why the second half of the year, even though it's not the second half, but now all of a sudden every game has another layer of complexity to it. And this was a big win for this Rockets team potentially, like you're talking, home court implications.
It gets real. And if you look at the Rockets, you go up, you see the Lakers, you see the Clippers. You think Russ and James aren't talking about how we are truly the players from Los Angeles?
Yeah.
Because Kawhi is from the IE. You got Paul George, he's from the IE. Yep. Russ and James are truly from LA. So they want to kind of make a statement. And even though LeBron is a Laker, they're like, we grew up here, this is our home turf.
Do you see the Rockets as the most formidable foe for, if we're just considering the Lakers, not even the Clippers?
I think it's going to be dynamic. You never know, health going down the stretch. Can James have a strong playoff push, which he doesn't have late in playoff series? What is that going to be like? And also on the glass, Anthony Davis, can he dominate a PJ Tucker who has had success defending him over his career?
Yeah, I don't know. Like, I'm never going to bet against Kawhi right now and Paul George, what the Clippers have. And I'm not going to bet against LeBron James.
Ever.
Ever. Yeah, so I'm going to say, well, maybe in like 10 years when he's like
if he's
finally
still
aged.
Playing in 10 years, maybe. I don't even think then.
I know, he may not.
I'll be like, no,
he's so incredible.
Let's wait and see.
But so give it time, right? Like those two teams are clearly ahead. Tonight, though, because the playoffs, one of the things with James has been the refs don't call as many fouls. So he doesn't get to the foul line. He doesn't score as easily. That puts more pressure on the three-point line. And we know they're playing a faster pace this year. Typically, the game slows down in the postseason. But tonight bodes well. I mean, they only go 10 of 14 from the foul line and win the game. That's a big deal. Right. You know, winning a game like this, 23s helps, of course.
The Rockets beat the Jazz. Yes, right. Yep, 23s does help that kind of thing usually. But now they're also seeded 4th in the Western Conference playoff picture as the Jazz drop down to 5th. It's a 7-game Saturday in the NBA. We've got highlights and analysis coming up from these guys. De'Aaron Fox and the Sacramento Kings taking on the LA Clippers early Saturday afternoon. Moments both on and off the floor. Welcome back into our NBA TV studios. The other guys who were sitting here are now gone. We're back. I'm Kristen Ledlow. He's Earl Watson. He's Wes Wilcox. We're going to be with you guys for the next couple of hours. It's a 7-game Saturday in the NBA. And let's start with Dwayne first, because again, of course, we know that he's now roaming these halls and working with us. But before that, he had a 16-year iconic career in the NBA.
No, really did. And the Miami Heat, 3 days for number 3.
Yeah.
They're doing a great job with this. You know, incredible career, incredible draft in 2003, 13-time All-Star, I think 8-time All-NBA. This is a special night for a special player.
Unbelievable. And our Shaquille O'Neal considered him, well, at least called him, the greatest Miami Heat player of all time. I imagine it's undisputable, right?
I think it is undisputable. When he came into the league, he came in as a point guard. He transitioned to the 2, and he was a dynamic player playing above the rim. And like he said, he worked really hard and got better each season. And the greatest thing that stands out to me is his leadership, you know, leading those programs to championships. And even before LeBron joined, those are always the greatest rivalries, like seeing those two go at each other, seeing Wade dominate.
And it's funny because when LeBron gave his contribution to
his video?
The video, it was, I can't believe that we're talking about this. Like, we should be talking about where the statue was going to be. That's got to be coming sometime soon, right?
For sure. I mean, if you're this type of player for a franchise, Dominique to the Hawks, Stockton and Malone to Utah, certainly Wade to Miami, there'll be a statue outside of that arena.
Then which moment? Because LeBron brought up a few that it could be. What do you think? Which moment should be immortalized in bronze?
I think for me it's the Euro step dunk versus Cleveland.
Oh,
I think it was Verge.
I like that.
Like, that was a great moment when he Euro stepped it. He dunked it going behind his side to the right, and difficult, athletic, and he's flash.
I don't know, that punch too. Like when he wins and just shows that competitive nature. You know, I don't know, but it will be another great moment, you imagine, for the Miami Heat fans once they do get that statue out front, which they deserve. And Wade deserves.
Or the "This is my house," almost the like, "Are you not entertained" kind of moment. Set it up on a table. You can do it that way as well. Do you guys have a favorite moment or a memory that sticks out when you think of the entirety of Dwayne's career?
I just remember in that 06 finals, right, where they're down and he was so great down the stretch. You know, just one of the most dynamic players, and did it without shooting the 3, which is just remarkable how good, how smart he was as a player to do it without that really as a staple of his game.
That's true. It didn't develop until much later in his career.
Yeah, most players like that tend to get better when they're more athletic. shooting beyond the arc, but you have to put in the work. And for me, it was the 04 playoffs. Playing against Baron Davis, my former college teammate. He hit some tough buckets against Baron, who is a strong athletic defender, but he did it with ease. And that was almost like the becoming moment of Dwayne Wade.
If you could sum up what he means to the game, how would you do it?
Well, what he means to the game, first of all, he has aged into a new career. And he has really become a mentor, it seems like, to so many before. You mentioned TNT. He's doing a great job. But it seems like it's really important for Dwayne to be a mentor and to give back, not just in basketball, but in life in general. And that's really, I think, special to see for a player to be that great, to be that socially conscious.
Yeah, well, and a lot of what he did in Miami when LeBron did decide to join the Heat, I think speaks very loudly as to the kind of man that he is as well. Not just the kind of player, but the person, because he statistically sacrificed a role, sacrificed even what was known as Dade County to welcome LeBron so that they could win.
Yeah, I think it's transcending for me, the way he's transcended his game, his leadership, from being in the forefront to being the guide when LeBron came, and then off the court having a platform to speak for those who don't have a chance to speak for themselves. He's taken and always been well-rounded. He's taken that platform and just elevated everything around him.
Well, elsewhere in the Eastern Conference, I'm being told things are heating up here between